Thank you so much for joining us today, Richard. We are excited to hear about USHG. What makes it special?
The thing that makes us special, I believe, are the people that we have on our team. And the way to look at it, I think, that illustrates it the most clearly is that we hire people that are what I would call caregivers, that it really makes them happy to provide care and make other people feel good, because that sort of fills up their gas tank to do that. And the people that we have working for us are really good at what they do. So if you have an intersection of a really great human being who loves to bring joy to other people and is really good at what they do, I think that generally, and in our case, often leads to great outcomes.
Now, we've heard that USHG operates on a single principle. What is it, and why is it so important?
We got to go back to 1985 when Danny Meyer opened Union Square Cafe, and he was, a Midwestern kid that came to New York in 1985, and it wasn't the safest city, and the neighborhood he chose, Union Square, wasn't the safest neighborhood. And he decided to open a restaurant with a founding principle, which still, stays with us in everything we do today, no matter what the stakeholder is. And back then it was somewhat of a Pollyannish vision, which was, let's open a restaurant and be nice to people. Think about that. The entire business model was, how can we create great outcomes for people by being nice to them and actually showing care for them?
Now, would you say that you're in the business of hospitality instead of the restaurant business? And how tough is this business?
Our brand is hospitality. We serve food and beverage to go along with that. We're in the relationship business. You're in the relationship business. You also sell cars to go along with that. But, anytime there's an interaction between two human beings, whether it's in person or now online or on the phone, relationships matter and thoughtful care matter. And that's our entire business model. We just happen to serve really good food by really nice people to go along with that.
What are the common hospitality no-nos?
Well, rather than look at no-nos, let's take a more optimistic look at this. What are the two things that I think are most impactful, no matter what type of business you have? And the first is, and this I can't underscore this enough, this is the single biggest answer to creating relationships, which is, don't think for me. Just ask me what I want, and I'll tell you. And I go into so many places where I feel people have been scripted because corporate or whoever is in charge of that business says, here's how you got to address people, or here's the protocol for doing things. And that takes the humanity out of it. The second thing, and this is something that is really, really important, that every single interaction you have with somebody is a relationship waiting to happen. Now, you can take the opportunity to do things that would show people that you care about developing a relationship, or you can just take a binary approach of yes, no, yes, no. If you need anything, ask me. Some of the things, and again, you get back to one size fits one. Everybody has their own bio. Everybody's from somewhere. Everybody has a story. I want to know that story for everybody.
Would you say that good hospitality allows guests to fully be themselves?
Well, within reason, I think the most important thing to understand with that is, again, one size fits one. We don't look at hospitality as a homogeneous expression. It needs to be customized to the person that is right in front of you, or the table that's right in front of you. And I believe that everybody in life wears a metaphoric sign that they wear that tells you who they are and what their needs are. In the service and hospitality industry, I can cut to the bottom line on this. Everybody's sign says the same thing, which is, make me feel important, make me feel like I matter to you. And it's our job as hospitalitarians to not only read that sign when people come in, but understand how we're doing along that path of making people feel important or making them feel like they matter by engaging them in conversation and dialogue to understand where you are on that journey with them.
How has your business and your approach to hospitality changed over time?
Well, our approach to hospitality has never changed, which is make people feel like they matter and make people feel that we appreciate them choosing us. The way that that's delivered has changed a ton. In 30 years ago, it was person to person. It was a big thing 30 years ago to handwrite a note to somebody. If you look at that now, that's going to take a week to get to somebody, and many people prefer digital. So I might email somebody, I might call them, but it's really trying to figure out how they like to communicate, how they like to feel appreciated, and how they like to talk to us.
Now, how would you say you stay ahead of the competition?
Well, we're a lot like Lexus. What we do is relationships, and the more rich relationships we have with people lead to more people staying with us over time and referring people to us and being brand ambassadors for us. And I think one of the most powerful things that can happen in somebody's life is when you say, you should go to that restaurant because it's really good. That personal sort of affirmation of trust, which is, you can trust me, works really well in creating relationships because you're putting your name on the line. Same thing with automobiles. If somebody says, what kind of car do you drive? Well, Lexus. And you should call John at Lexus and he's going to treat you like family. It's those types of things where I have the trust that if I give you something that is very precious to me, which is a person that matters to me, that's a real gift I'm giving to a business. And if that business can say, this is great, thank you, we will take great care of what you just gave us, and we'll do that over and over again, then you're going to stay ahead of the competition because you're going to constantly look for ways to be meaningful to more people, but especially when they feel like they're part of your family.
How are you evolving and adapting your approach to hospitality in our current environment?
The way that we're adapting is a lot like the rest of the world, which is we're trying to figure out in real time what is most impactful and what is most meaningful for people. And you have to understand, no matter what you do, there's no playbook for where we are right now that you can refer to. There's no manual. There's really no compass you can hold out and say, okay, I got it. This is the direction we have to head. But what you can do is stay solidly rooted in the principles that got you where you are. So the first and foremost thing that we look at is what is the safest? And we will never do anything that puts our staff or our guests in harm's way of being safe. So with that, if you're unable to open a restaurant, what can you do? Well, again, we're in the service business. We love to serve people. It makes us feel good to contribute to our community through service. So we look at things like we have a project now with Rethink Food, where we use our Lexus Intersect Kitchen to provide food for the community. And I think as of yesterday, we hit our 25,000th meal for people in need. We are now back in the business slightly of what we do for a living, which is to cook and serve and make people feel good by cooking and serving. We don't have the service element as much as we'd like to, but the pride and care and joy that we put into the food is the same as if we were back in business at Union Square Cafe. So while it's very easy to say we have to wait and we have to just wait for things to come back to the way they were, which we think is going to be probably longer than we had hoped for, how can we activate our people's hearts and hands and brains and joy to give that to other people in a time of need right now?
Thank you so much, Richard, and thanks for taking the time.
I'm so grateful to be here, and with all relationships, I am so looking forward to the ongoing enrichment and collaboration with Lexus and Intersect and Elevate. You put two really strong-minded, hospitality-driven companies together, and I think great things can happen, and I think they will happen, and I'm just looking forward to what happens with our relationship.
And now we have Nicholas Martinez joining us, Executive Chef at Intersect by Lexus.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Talk about the cultures and values that led you to want to be a part of USHG.
What led me to USHG Intersect and working with Danny Meyer is that USHG has essentially always set the bar in the hospitality industry. And also, which is our mission, to give our guests an unparalleled one-fits-one experience. And also, at the same time, treat our team members with that same integrity and hospitality.
What has working at USHG taught you about hospitality?
Yes, well, Danny has a favorite quote by Maya Angelou. People will forget about what you say and do, but not about how you make them feel. And that's at the core of our basic business philosophy. And what makes it different from everywhere else is that we put this philosophy at the front of all the decisions that we make. How it affects our team members, our stakeholders, our community, and our investors.
How do you demonstrate hospitality to your guests?
Well, we demonstrate hospitality by really caring about who's actually coming in to the restaurant to join us. We do that in one way by having a pre-shift meeting with all of our staff before service. We start to connect dots, such as where a guest is from, what's their favorite cocktail, what table do they enjoy sitting at. We also do it through an open kitchen and counter seating behind us, to where the guests actually interact with our culinary team, and they collect dots as well, and we're able to connect those dots in the future.
They say it takes a certain type of personality to be good at hospitality. Does that make sense to you?
To be a great chef, to be great in the hospitality business, you have to put others before yourself. And it also has to bring you joy, and you have to have passion for making others happy.
Okay, what do you do if you're having a bad day? How do you move beyond it?
Well, to me, it all starts with being mentally prepared and staying healthy. I do that through yoga and stretching before each service, and also during our pre-shifts, bringing energy and passion to the team is really uplifting for me and gets us ready for service every night.
Okay, Nick, thanks for joining us. Back to you, Heather.